Big news is shaking up the Eagles' locker room, and you need to hear this. We all know the offensive line is the heartbeat of this team, but an unexpected development during minicamp has everyone talking about our depth at tackle. Is a rookie already pushing for a starting role, or are we reading too much into these early practice reps? The situation surrounding our veteran swing tackle is heating up, and it could change everything we thought we knew about our roster plans for September. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let's dive into this. The development of Markel Bell stands at the heart of the current offseason conversation for the Philadelphia Eagles. Selected in the third round, Bell was initially viewed as a long-term project and the eventual successor to Lane Johnson at the right tackle position. The expectation was that he would spend this season as the team's fourth tackle, focusing on learning the nuances of the position while acclimating to the professional level. However, recent events during minicamp have cast a spotlight on his rapid integration. With Lane Johnson absent during the voluntary portion of minicamp, the expectation was that Fred Johnson, the veteran serving as the number 3 tackle, would anchor the right side of the offensive line with the first team. Instead, the coaching staff placed Markel Bell in that spot. This decision marks a significant shift in his early progression, especially considering he is still adjusting to the transition from left tackle, his college position, to the right side of the line. While he has yet to sign his rookie contract, the team is prioritizing his exposure to first-team reps. This move suggests an urgency to accelerate his familiarity with the scheme and his proximity to starting guard Tyler Steen. As the team prepares for the upcoming season, the Eagles are clearly testing the limits of Bell's developmental timeline. The organization is looking to see if he can handle high-level reps sooner than initially projected, providing a necessary insurance policy for the right tackle spot. Whether this represents a permanent shift or a temporary measure for evaluation remains to be seen as mandatory minicamp proceeds. This development ensures that the right tackle situation remains one of the most monitored aspects of the current roster construction process. The presence of Markel Bell with the first team highlights why this matters right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. Lane Johnson, the perennial starter, has unfortunately missed at least 2 games in 4 of the last 5 seasons due to various injuries. Consequently, the team needs a reliable contingency plan ready to step in at a moment's notice during the regular season. By exposing Markel Bell to first-team work this early, the coaching staff is effectively fast-tracking his preparation for meaningful snaps. While Bell is still raw and learning the technical differences between playing on the left and right sides of the line, these early reps are invaluable. If he demonstrates the capability to handle professional-level pass rushers during training camp, the Eagles gain significant depth security. It is worth noting that Fred Johnson remains on the roster on a 1-year deal, providing veteran stability. However, the organization is clearly exploring whether the rookie's ceiling is higher than current internal projections. This does not necessarily mean that the veteran is in immediate danger of losing his spot, but it does indicate that the team is not settling for the status quo. The goal is to ensure that if a starter goes down, the offensive line does not suffer a catastrophic drop in performance. This is precisely why the Eagles invested a third-round pick in Markel Bell. They are not just building for the distant future, but actively looking for ways to bolster the current squad's readiness. Fans know that the success of the trenches is paramount, and the mantra, "Fly Eagles Fly," serves as a reminder of the high standards expected from every player protecting the quarterback, regardless of their experience level. The shifting role of Fred Johnson adds another layer to this narrative. Having signed a 1-year deal in March, he was brought in to serve as a swing tackle, offering continuity under the new offensive line coaching staff. He has experience in the system and has previously succeeded in the role of a backup. However, the nature of a 1-year contract is that it provides no long-term guarantees for a roster spot. While Fred Johnson is currently liked as the third tackle, his position is being challenged by the internal competition. If the organization decided to part ways with him, the financial implications would be relatively manageable. A move would result in a $100,000 hit against the salary cap, attributed to 4 void years included in his contract, alongside a cap number of approximately $146 million. While that is not an exorbitant amount to move on from, the team would still need to account for the loss of veteran experience. The question is whether younger players like Cameron Williams can accelerate their growth during the summer, or if Miles Hinton might be moved back to a tackle position after taking reps at left guard during OTAs. Fred Johnson is currently the only veteran behind the starters who has a proven track record of playing successfully in this role. The team is balancing the desire to develop high-upside rookies like Markel Bell with the practical need for proven depth. As the summer progresses, the competition will intensify, and the Eagles will have to determine if the development of the younger core justifies a potential roster shakeup. For now, the veteran swing tackle remains a crucial piece of the depth chart despite the recent experimental lineup changes. The evaluation of Markel Bell will be the defining theme of training camp for the offensive line. Since he is still learning the technical intricacies of the right tackle position, the coaching staff is likely observing how he processes information in real time. Moving from left to right is not merely a change in stance. It requires a complete adjustment in kick-slide mechanics and hand placement against opposing edge rushers. Patience is a virtue the coaching staff must exercise, even while they push for accelerated development. The organization's strategy seems to be to maximize every available rep for the rookie. By placing him with the first team, they are testing his ability to communicate with his teammates and recognize stunts or blitz packages at an increased speed. This intensity of training is a reminder that even if Bell takes reps with the second team, his focus remains on becoming a viable starter. The team is not just evaluating his talent, but his aptitude for the rigorous demands of the position under the current scheme. While the prospect of a rookie filling a critical role is enticing, it remains speculative until the team puts the pads on and conducts full contact practices. This will serve as the true litmus test for his NFL readiness. The coaching staff is clearly creating a situation where the most prepared player will occupy the vital backup tackle role, regardless of draft status or contract longevity. The focus remains on the collective strength of the unit, and the ongoing development of the rookie will dictate how the final roster is shaped by the time September arrives, influencing every decision made regarding the composition of the offensive line. Looking ahead to the conclusion of the summer, the status of both Markel Bell and Fred Johnson will be clarified as training camp practices intensify. The team is in a position where they can afford to let this competition play out naturally without needing to commit to a final decision until closer to the season opener. It is difficult to envision the organization moving on from a veteran with the track record of Fred Johnson, provided he maintains his performance level throughout the summer. However, the organization is undeniably putting pressure on the veteran by consistently providing Markel Bell with high-level opportunities. For the rookie, the goal is clear. Show enough consistency to prove that the team can rely on him for meaningful snaps should the situation arise. His growth over the next 5 weeks of practice will be the primary factor in determining his actual role for the season. Meanwhile, the team continues to assess the development of other players like Cameron Williams and the potential flexibility of Miles Hinton. These moving parts all revolve around the critical need for reliable tackle depth in a league where injuries along the offensive front are frequent. The final roster will reflect a balance between established performance and the promise of future growth. Whether or not Markel Bell secures a primary backup role or continues his trajectory as a developmental project, the decisions made over the coming weeks are vital to the team's depth strategy. As the organization moves toward mandatory minicamp and eventually training camp, the focus will stay on identifying the most efficient combination of personnel to protect the quarterback and ensure the unit is prepared for the challenges of the regular season ahead of them.